Hey everybody, this is Brian. Welcome to Chiller Night Live, where from 8 p.m. Eastern Time until 9 o'clock we'll talk about all things horror, science fiction, paranormal. You pick the topic and we will make a show out of it, by golly. We'll give it a good, honest effort anyways. Looks like everything is up and running. Just did an upgrade on the system here, the OBS. That's always a little risky. But I did it nonetheless so that I can bring you, fine, frightened folks, the best quality available. The best all over the internet, in fact. So it's right here on this show. So brace yourself, prepare yourself for the finest online streamed program available anywhere. And so I think that's been fluffed up enough, hasn't it, though? All right, so we have started doing this show years ago because of Chiller Night Theater, the hosted horror show where Jack Shadow brings you the old classic and not so classic horror features from yesteryear. All right, then there's Ghoul. Ghoul evening, everyone, I should say, from D. Well, thanks for joining us, D. Ghoul evening to you. SBC says, hello, everyone. Hello, SBC. Thanks for joining us. Bonehead says, everything is perfect so far, Brian. Great job. Thanks. Oh, thank you, Bonehead. That's what we like to hear. All right. So, yes, every Saturday night. They're not new shows. We don't have any new ones. I will say that. I'll be right, right up front with you about that. Jack Shadow took his retirement, at least from hosting horror shows, back in October of 2022. So it's been a while for Jack Shadow. But you can watch the programming on Stream TV at streammedia.tv right there. If you squint your eyes, you can see it. And that's every Saturday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And they'll play at least 4 episodes. I think they're still doing that. I think so. I've not been able to verify that with their online scheduling for some reason for about the last month. I'm not sure why that is, but that's just the way it is. Renee is sending me all kinds of emojis. An onslaught of emojis. Hope you're doing better, Renee. Are you? How was your surgery? Oh, yours is on the. You told me too. Was it the 11th? Am I thinking the 11th? But anyways, audio is crisp tonight. D says good. I wonder. I just always wonder about that. Did the update make a difference? I would hope so. It's an update, so. Okay, Renee says, my pre-op went well yesterday. And today was my blood test and EKG. Well, I hope that went well for you. But it says, hey, Miss Renee, I hope you're doing well. Al says, hi, everyone. Hey, Al, thanks for joining us. Renee says, now I have to wait for the go signal for my operation surgery, February 12th. Ah, the 12th. I thought I said the 11th, but I was close. For my rotator cuff, arm, and shoulder. I had the same thing, Renee. They went in there and did their thing with the rotary cuff. Then they had to correct some kind of attachment with my bicep while they're in there. So yeah, while they're in there, anyways, you know. So but I was back on here. I was back on the show here right after I had mine, and it wasn't meaning that I recovered completely that quick. It took me, well, to give you an example, I had it in November of 2022, and I think I was fully recovered, or felt fully recovered, in about June of 23. I say that because whenever I could completely lift my arm, and I didn't have any pain or anything like that. So you will do just fine. Of that, I have no doubt. But it says, you're always in our thoughts and prayers, Miss Renee. Yes. Wish me a Godspeedy recovery. Thoughts, wishes. Yes, absolutely, Renee. John says, I have returned. Hey, welcome back, John. We missed you. And once again, I'm here to help with the introduction. And once again, it's Tuesday, it's after 8, and it's time for Chiller Night Live. I'm Crozak the Grand, according to my birth certificate. And now here's our host, Bryan Hogue. Thank you, John and Crozak the Grand, for that stellar intro, as always. Much appreciated. Makes me feel kind of important or something. Stephanie says, hey, Stephanie, thanks for joining us. Hey, y'all, sorry I'm late. Oh, no, not at all. We're just exchanging our salutations. Just got back from book club and now sitting down with a bowl of homemade chili. Oh, that sounds good. Jason says, good evening to our fearless leader, Bryan, and to my fellow ghouls. All right, well, thank you, Jason, and good evening to you as well. Tom says, hello, people. Hello, Tom, thanks for joining us. And PBR, hey, that update must have, or maybe I'm just that late in getting to your comment, but I see your waves. Before, had that been last week, or maybe even just 20 minutes ago before I did my update, it would have taken a while to upload. So, all right, maybe there's something to this upload. Bonus says, wishing you all that and more, Miss Renee. I can't wait to hear you tell us you're all healthy and healed up as soon as you can. We're there for you. Yes. All right, a few more exchanges being made there with hellos. Bonus says, enjoy that chili. Wow, I'm hungry now. It's a nice little meal there on a nice chilly or chiller night. Yes, the old bowl of chili. All right, so how's everybody been this week? Did I even say that right? Did words even come? How's everybody been this week? Words are fun. All right, so Jason, you had recommended a movie last week. I'm going to check out the spelling on this because oh my gosh. Here we go. All right, so you reckon Ithaquah, which is kind of like, from what I'm seeing, kind of like the Wendigo. But I wasn't able to find that movie anywhere. So is it coming out, or has it already come out? And if so, do you know where it's streaming? Because we were going to try to watch that the other night and we couldn't find it. So so if you do remember, or if you've seen it, I don't know if you've seen it, or if you want to tell us what you think. But we were all set to watch that. What did we watch instead? Murder on the Orient Express. The film from a few years back with Kevin Branagh, Johnny Depp, and Michelle Pfeiffer, and just an all-star cast. It was okay. Can't complain. Ava and I watched another one called The Menu on, Ava, if you're watching, what was that on? Was that on Netflix? I'm not going to say. You want to watch it, go ahead and let me know what you think. All right. SBC says, today's topic, the best horror film porn parodies, or better not, YouTube has too little humor for that. And I would be a little bit more concerned if I got just a plethora of responses to that one. Perhaps we'll just pick another topic. John says, I'm surprised that none of the other horror hosts are having a Saturday evening show as pre-Super Bowl special. Yeah, I don't know if they're up and running. That's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea for big events like that. So, all right. Any other topic ideas? SBC, a bonus says, SBC, that's funny. I don't even think you'll ever hear Bryan talking about porn. This is a family show. That's right. That's right. It's not that kind of show, Bonehead. How many times? Oh, and also, I wanted to let you know that if you're in the neighborhood, uh, that's Venango County, Pennsylvania. For those of you who may or may not know, speaking more to those who don't know, where Venango County is, it is in the northwestern part of Pennsylvania, up around Oil City, Franklin. You might have heard of those cities. Oil City, probably. It's about an hour and a half north of Pittsburgh if you're driving. And our new hours, for right now anyways, Monday and Tuesday close, as you can see. Wednesday, Thursday, and Fridays, 6 to 8. Saturdays, 3 to 8. And then Sunday close. This is because I am working on a new addition to the store, to the business there. And we'll see how that goes. I'll talk a little bit more about that in a few minutes. But right now, what I do have currently is the Witching Hour and Zombie Outbreak escape rooms. They are horror-themed 1-hour escape rooms. And if you'd like to check those out, if you'd like to book those, or if you just want to call and inquire a little bit more about them, 814-209-8214 is the store's phone number. And or you can go online and book that on at chillernight.com. So there you have it. There you have it. Let me get back on camera here and catch up with the comments. Oh, John says, the only one who does that is Daikaiju TV. And this Sunday, they will have their 10th anniversary Kaiju Bowl. Oh yeah, where they play a lot of like Godzilla movies or something. Or if so, well, how would they? Oh, that's the channel. Okay. I was gonna say, how could a horror host play Godzilla movies? If so, I would like to. There's a loophole there. I think the only one, I know the one is Gamera. You can play Gamera. That's public domain. Renee says, Stephanie, press Rocket Red Countdown Liftoff Planet Orange Purple Ring. Well, I would now have to scroll back up perhaps, but I wonder if those convert into emojis as I'm scrolling down. New edition? Cool, Stephanie says. Yes. Yes. D says, Super Bowl Sunday, this Sunday. Anyone watch? I watch if the Steelers are playing or for the halftime show. Color me unimpressed for this year. Yeah, who's watching the Super Bowl? And if so, who are you rooting for? Bronan says, how about horror movies set during springtime? Oh, that's pretty lame, he says. Was I making that? I guess. I was just pondering. I don't think I was making a face there. I was just pondering. But you said, oh, that's pretty lame. Disregard that idiot. How about horror movies that have clouds in the skies? No. SPC says, how about the best international horror movies? All right. You're going to have a lot of people on the on the Google looking up international horror. You talking about? Oh, I was thinking Republic. Are you talking about international foreign films? Bone says, hey, thanks, Miss Renee. That's a really cool emoji you gave me. Wow, a little planet and a UFO. Looks like a little alien head sticking out. Lona says, I'm going for the Philly Eagles. I'm tired of KC. Yeah. John says, the Casia Bowl usually pits teams like Hammer movies against the classics from Universal, Alien Invasion against the Earth, etc. Ah, that sounds cool. That sounds really cool. That's, would be right up our alley. Oh, Jason says, Ithaca is not yet released. Sorry, I didn't tell you that. Oh, no, you might have mentioned it. I just remembered that we were just... several nights after the show, and we were trying to think of something to watch one of those evenings, and I said, "Hey, Jason posted about a movie," so I went back and looked, and that's where that came from. You might have mentioned that, so well, if anybody sees when that's released, let me know. Dee says, "Stream TV worked for me this Saturday. Finally, I got to watch Jack Shadow. Awesome." And if it doesn't work for whatever reason, Gremlins might be doing Misfits, or whatever. Mischief, that's it. You can always watch episodes of Chiller Night Theater on YouTube, on the YouTube Chiller Night channel. So, and a lot of you are on YouTube, so you know which channel I'm talking about. So, and speaking of that, if you haven't liked and subscribed, I guess you just have to subscribe to the channel and like the video and press the notification to be notified of these fine, frightening videos that are coming your way. Right now, this show is it, and it will be for a while. I mean, I will make no... Yeah, I mean, it just is. There will be no Chiller Night Theater. I don't have any in the works. I don't have any plans to make any more Chiller Night Theaters, at least the way that they were being done. Just because I have so much on my plate right now, and I'm not meaning to. Oh, I'm so overwhelmed. It's not that. I'm not. I'm just staying afloat. I'm staying afloat and doing what I like to do. So. But I know I wouldn't be able to add any more onto it for now anyways. I need writers. That's what I need. I need to hire a writer. Maybe that would help me. And then I'd have to say, would Jack say this? How would he say it? But I wouldn't mind that. I see Paul. I see somebody mentioning Paul. Renee says, Paul. Is Paul on here? I talked to Paul today just to check and see how he was doing, and he is doing fine. And he was going to try to watch tonight, but he wasn't sure if he was able to actually leave comments for some reason. Something to do with maybe his computer or keyboard, I don't know. So he was going to text, but I see no text. But I did talk to him earlier. So he seems to be doing well, and told him everyone was asking about him, so I think he's happy to hear that, I'm sure. So Brett says, hey Brian. Hey Brett, how's it going? Hopefully all is well in Cranberry. So all is well here in Jack Shadow's Dark Domain. And what is today? It's Tuesday, but now tomorrow, what, the 5th? Yeah, 5th. Okay, I should be... maybe, I don't know if you're working tomorrow, but I should be at the store tomorrow working away on my new... Oh, yeah, that was another thing we talked about is the new addition to the store. I'm working on a year-round haunted attraction for Jack Shadow's House of Terror. This would be, and I don't know if I'll even have this complete by June. If I'm really racing against a clock, I'm going to try to have it because I want it to be a display haunt. However, I also want it to have some interaction with the guests as they walk through. And I have a lot of things in mind. I know we just began February, but already, you know, that to me, even to be done by June, just seems like quite a task. And then at that point, I would really have to go at it to try to get the haunt ready for October after that. So I've already already looking at what needs done this year, and it seems I love a challenge though. I love a challenge. Bonus says, Brian, please tell Paul I said hello. Hope he's doing well. I'll do that, Bonehead. I'll do that. Yes, I did talk to him today. He seemed to be doing pretty well. Brett says, see you then. All right, Brett. We'll see you. Jeff, hey, Jeffrey Rex. Hello, Brian. Aaron and I are watching you. The escape rooms are awesome. Oh, that's fantastic. I'm glad you're on here, you and Aaron, and thanks for joining us tonight. And I'm glad that you enjoyed the you did the witching hour. Yeah, that's right. You did the witching hour. So glad you like that. Glad you like that. Let's see. SBC says, hello, Paul. Great to hear. Hello. Great to hear that you're doing well. Is Paul on here? Did I miss Paul? All right. Well, I don't see Paul on here, but or maybe he's just being mentioned, and that's what you're thinking. But it says, yeah, Friday's the 7th of February. Some moron got a birthday then. Oh, no way. Well, I'll tell you what, because we won't see you till next week. Happy early birthday to you. So hopefully you have a wonderful day, and I don't know if you have any plans, but whatever. Going out, staying in. Hope you have a fantastic birthday Friday. So, anybody else have any birthdays within the week? Renee says, I binge watched Dune 2. So, again, happy birthday there. Happy birthday. Early birthday to you. Binge watched Dune 2, Blue Beetle, Aliens vs. Predator, Aliens vs. Predator, Requiem, and Predator and Terminator. Wow. A lot of aliens and predators and Terminators there. A lot of science fiction. Dune 2. That seems pretty epic. Let's see. Bonus says, thanks, Brian. You're very welcome. Amanda says, good evening. Good evening, Amanda. Thanks for joining us. Bonus says, I haven't seen Paul on here yet. No, I don't think he's on here. I was just mentioning that I had talked to him earlier. I did talk to him earlier. I mean, not just text, but I actually talked to him on the phone. He's just checking, see if he's doing okay. I haven't heard from him for a while, so, but he's doing good, and he wanted everybody to know he said hello, and a little hard for him to kind of join us in the evenings these days. Brett says, time for me to head out. Oh, yeah. It's that time of the night, isn't it? All right, well, we'll see you there, Brett. Brian says, hello, everyone. Hey, Brian, thanks for joining us. SBC says, big question, everyone. Which is the scariest horror movie monster? All right, that is something you can kick around in your head, ping-pong it around there, and don't just blurt it out. Give it some good thought. I know I will. Stephanie says, my nephew's birthday is today. All right. Well, happy birthday to Stephanie's nephew. Happy birthday. All right. Trying to see if I've missed anything else. Is he watching? Is your nephew watching? If not, you tell him. You tell your nephew that we wish him a very, very happy birthday. Bonus says, thanks, Brian. You always shoot me a birthday wish every year. You remember my birthday better than I do. LOL. I have an empty head. That is not a problem. That's what we're here for. Loretta Richardson Hanger says hi and gives me a wave, so I will return the gesture. Thank you for joining us, Loretta. Hope you enjoy a night of horror, science fiction, paranormal, whatever you want to talk about. You bring the topic, and we will make a show out of it one way or another. Or we'll talk about it. I should call the show Chiller Chat, quite honestly, because that's pretty much just what we do. Very rarely do we have a pre-selected topic. We get on here, throw out what you got creeping and crawling inside your head, and we'll chat about that. And in the meantime, I will also tell you folks about Chiller Night Theater, the hosted horror show, hosted by the one and only Jack Shadow. Jack actually took a retirement a couple of years ago from the show, and he is now doing the haunted house full time. That is what Jack is up to these days. But if you like the old classic or not so classic or science fiction films of yesteryear, check out Chiller Night Theater. You might like it. Hope you do. There's plenty of those on the Chiller Night YouTube channel. Let's see. Stephanie says, "Take care, Brett." Yes, it's about that time. About 8:30, I think, is when he leaves. The Cranberry Mall. Bonus says, "Thanks everyone for the birthday wishes. Yins are the best. Thank you all so much. You're very welcome." Stephanie says, "Frankenstein." Okay, to answer SBC's big question to everyone. We know it's a big question because he specifically said it was. Which is the scariest horror movie monster? The Creeping Terror. You remember the Creeping Terror? That's not my answer. I'm just funning. Let's see. Bonus says, "Happy birthday to your nephew, Miss Stephanie from the Chiller Night crew." Yes, indeed. Bonus says, "Dracula." All right. Al says, "Happy birthday, Bonehead." Bonus says, "Godzilla would be really frightening if he was real. That's one big monster." That's true. That's true. That's the most frightening. The most frightening. The scariest horror movie monster. I was gonna say a werewolf, but I'd probably have to go with Dracula, or a vampire. I'll say vampire, just because a vampire can have the savage viciousness of a werewolf. Just about. I mean, they can rip you apart. A vampire can drink your blood. They can turn you into one of them. Which might sound cool at first, but it wouldn't be, because you would just be this dead thing cursed for all eternity until you are put out of your misery. But they also have the cognitive abilities about themselves. They have the intelligence to not only scheme, but they can hypnotize, and they can lure you in and set traps. They have some intelligence about them that a werewolf wouldn't. And that reminds me. Let's see. John says, "Hammer film version of Dracula with Christopher Lee." All right, cool. Bonin says, I do love and enjoy the Chiller Night crew. Thanks, Brian, for keeping this chat room going. I'd really be lost without it and be missing a lot of fun and enjoyment. Yeah, wow, that's all right. I remember last year going into 2023, I was actually considering, I'd actually mentioned I was going to pull the plug on the show. I was just going to do, work on the store and the business and everything full time. And I just found that I don't know, it was going into 2024, the end of 2023 into 24. And then I just decided, I think a couple weeks before, not to do that. So here we are. We're still here. It was weird because I wasn't sure, does everybody just want to do this? Because I wasn't really talking about the shows anymore necessarily. That wasn't the highlight of trying to, to push the, Saturday night, you're going to watch Werewolf of London, you're going to watch, blah, blah, blah. So we didn't have that anymore, but here we are, and we're still going strong, and everyone seems to have a good time and enjoy the hour. Speaking of vampires, boom, there is the most famous vampire of all. I have 10 best vampire movies this week, according to Screen Rant. All right, and this is just one of the many, many lists from Screen Rant. If you ever want to check that out, go to screenrant.com and pretty much see whatever you're, type in anything. Chances are they have a list for it. Okay, this is where the Rankers Top 10 ranking comes in. The films, blah, 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 blah. All right, number 10. Oh, this is horrible. They have Van Helsing from 2004 listed as where are they getting these this list from? Okay, they're saying Van Helsing from 2004, a movie that I literally fell asleep in at the theater. Looked like a bunch of CGI, like a CGI cartoon, but well, somebody must have liked it. They put it on their list. Now here's another one. Number 9. I take it they're going down. They're not numbered. Fright Night, 1985. Okay, now that one I agree with. I don't think it needs to be all the way up at number 9. I put it down a little bit toward the bottom there. Fright Night, very good selection. The next one, Underworld Evolution, 2006. I'd have to disagree as far as being in the top 10. All right. But not saying it's a bad movie, but I would put it in the top 10 for vampire movies. 30 Days a Night, 2007. That one I will agree with. I think that's a excellent vampire movie. Now here's one, 1996, From Dusk Till Dawn. Had George Clooney, Harvey Keitel. I even had Tom Savini. Remember Tom Savini was in it, Quentin Tarantino. Tom Savini was a guest on my show on Chiller Chat, one of the earlier Chiller Chats from back in like 2008. He was also a guest in my House of Terror haunted house. So it was a fun movie. I wouldn't put it in the top 10, but it was definitely a fun movie to watch. Underworld, 2003. Again, I I'm not saying these are bad movies or not entertaining. I wouldn't agree with that for the top 10. Blade, 1998, definitely wouldn't. A vampire movie. Come on, folks. Interview with the Vampire Chronicles, 1994, with Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt. I saw it. That one I'm not going to be as harsh about as I would be like with Van Helsing. It has its place in vampire cinema. Bram Stoker's Dracula, 1992. Okay, not bad. I know that a lot of really true gory fans didn't like the romantic, the lost love approach to it, but I didn't mind that. They would have just overdid it a little bit more, maybe. The Lost Boys, 1987. That's a fun one. Okay, sure, I'll go with that one. And was that their next one? Yeah, that was their number 1. Wow. I wonder if those were in any particular order. Maybe they weren't. So I will do away with that. Where are we at here? All right. So let's go back. Let me try to catch up with. SBC says zombies are definitely scary. I'm glad I can't smell TV. Yeah. Yeah, I never could understand how they would sneak up on you. SBC says 2004, just no. I'd have to refer to the list to see which one was that the Van Helsing one? Brian says Near Dark has to be on that list. Near Dark. SBC says too much computer stuff. Yeah, that doesn't. Those movies like Underworld, to me, that's not a horror movie. It's kind of an action movie that has monsters in it, like League of Extraordinary Gentlemen type of. It's got a monster in it, maybe Mr. Hyde or whatever, but or Van Helsing. But I don't consider those. I don't consider those horror. Tom says, "What a crappy list." Yeah, I have to agree with you. There's only a couple on there that that I liked. I agree with you, Tom. Who made this list again? That's Screen Rant. Yeah. Just real quick, minutes before the show, I put a search in there for 10 best vampire movies for Screen Rant. And I was very disappointed. Blackula, John says, Blackula and Martin should be in the lineup. Interesting choice. SBC says, Interview with a Vampire is one of the worst vampire movies of all time. Yeah, I saw it back in the 90s. I think that said the 90s, but and I was like I said, not for me, but it has its place in vampire cinema. I'll just say that because apparently it was popular. I just, PBR says, just got done watching Labyrinth starring David Bowie and Jennifer Connelly. Way cool, great puppeteering. Wow, that's an old one. Renee says, Lost Boys rocked. Yeah, that was fun. That was a fun movie. Renee says, Interview with the Vampire. Tom Cruise. Blade, she says. SBC says, PBR Street Gang. I saw the one a while ago. A fun movie. I saw that one. Oh, that one a while ago. Fun movie. Labyrinth. Stephanie says, I've seen 8 out of 10 of those movies on that list. Renee says, Vampire in Brooklyn. A lot of vampire movies. Would you put those on your top 10 list, though? I mean, SBC says they don't even have the original Nosferatu on the list, and not a single Bela Lugosi film. I know that, my fine chiller maniacs, is what makes that list I'll tell you what, to me, that list is not a good list at all. It's not my list. I would definitely, come on, I'd have Nosferatu on there. You got to have the granddaddy of all vampire movies. You got to have Nosferatu. You got to have Dracula, Bela Lugosi on there. And why not the 1958 Hammer Horror? With Christopher Lee. And I would put, I don't know, those 3 I certainly would put on there. I don't know. What do you think? Any more? You know what we should do? One of these nights, and like tonight, I didn't have a theme because I didn't want to. I really didn't have time to put together something, something fun and as far as the theme goes. But I would like to do. There's 2 themes I would really like to do, and I don't want to do them just like this necessarily. But I would like to do, with a little bit of preparation, is Planet of the Apes would be one, and the other might be The Walking Dead. And I would probably keep that a little specific to Walking Dead, not just generalize zombies. But we'll get to that. We'll get to that. I think those 2. I think those are some pretty good topics. You can do zombies. You can just. But I think Planet of the Apes and The Walking Dead would be some fun ones. But it says, did they include Bride of Frankenstein on that list? Sorry, I can't remember. What? For the vampire? No, no, they didn't. Uh, Tom says, good point, SB. The first vampire movie should be on any top vampire list. Yes. Stephanie says, I totally agree with you, Brian. Yeah, oh man. I mean, what were they thinking? When I started reading that list, I was like, oh, come on, this has got to be a joke. You know, to put Van Helsing in the top 10 vampire movies. So, Van Helsing. And then, like I said, the Underworld. There are action movies, you know, that have like a monster in them, you know. But to me, that's not, you know, especially when the monster is over-explained, you know, and I just, you know, there's an audience for that. You know, the one thing I try to not sound like is a movie snob, because it's like, you know, I want everybody to go ahead and, you know, tell me what do you like. It might not be something I care for, but man, if you like it, knock yourself out. But I don't. You know. There are some on that list I totally, you know, like Blade. I mean, come on, for a vampire movie, like a vampire, a true vampire movie. Come on, what are they smoking? Bonus says, hope you get over your coughing spell, Brian. Please don't get sick. Grab your Ricola. Oh, I'm doing right. I think it's just a dry air out here in the dark domain. Yes. I think I'll have a little bit of water there. Tom says Ricola. See, I said it just like it was spelled. SBC says, too bad we can't make a chat where we all have the webcam on, then we could wear a Halloween costume, turn it into a party. Yeah, we can have a virtual Halloween party. Hey, how about that? We were talking about Paul earlier, and I remember him mentioning one time about doing like a Zoom, you know, and I don't know if anyone's interested in actually doing something like that. Let me know. I don't care. Some people like to not be on film or even have their picture taken. So, and I don't think you'd have to have your camera turned on, but maybe you could talk. Be interesting to hear what some of you sound like. No, but that would be fun. Yeah, let me know if there's anything out of the ordinary that you're interested in trying. Might be able to arrange for that. Then it says, oops, I didn't know it was vampires. I told you. Well, there was a topic earlier about the most scariest horror movie monster, but I don't think that would be Bride of Frank. I'm sure you didn't mean Bride of Frankenstein in that. Maybe you were. I don't know. Again, might be your idea. I really wasn't kidding, you said. Maybe I got a bad brain disease or something. Oh no, skulls don't have a brain. Not apparently does Bunhead. Yeah. Tom says, being a movie snob is one thing, but nothing wrong with having some decent standards. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Nothing wrong with that at all. I don't know. I mean, there's got to be an audience for this stuff, right? Like, especially the underworld movies. I'm not saying, I think I saw the first one. That's it. Like, it's like not really me, you know, that's not my thing. If I want to watch something like that, I'll watch The Matrix. You know, I don't know. You don't need to be a. I don't know. It just wasn't my thing. But obviously, there's an audience for it. It certainly doesn't belong on the top 10 list of vampires. John says, I'm surprised that none of the foreign versions of vampire films, like the Spanish version of Dracula, or the Italian ones like The Vampire and the Ballerina, or Mr. Vampire from Hong Kong, didn't make the cut. There you go. I am not surprised that that particular list didn't have those That particular list, I mean, John, come on now. That particular list had Van Helsing. Van Helsing. So they're not thinking as in depth as you are. Uh, D says, nope, I'd be out. Introvert wallflower here. Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. And Tom says, Halloween party in February. Yeah. SB says, I like the parody with Leslie Nielsen better than the original Bram Stoker's Dracula. Renee says, there must be a lot of Eagles fans going crazy in your pit area. I don't know. I don't know. I haven't heard. I don't. That's a. If there are, I haven't seen it. I'll put it that way. Tom says, come as a wallflower, D. There you go. You've got your costume already figured out. Raymond says, Brian, hey, Raymond. And there's the wave. Thanks for joining us. D says, if wallflowers are acceptable, I'm down with that. Well, sure. Sure. Renee says, I hope you feel better, Brian. Oh, thank you. I'm actually feeling fine. I just think I just had a dry throat, a little cough there. But I'm actually feeling very, very good. But thank you, though. I appreciate that. But it says, I put a straw hat on my skull, and I'll just look like a Boney Bob from Chiller Max Drive-In. Oh, look like Boney Bob from Chiller Max Drive-In. Okay, I got the visual of that. SBC says, Stephanie, press, I wrap myself in toilet paper and dress up as a mummy. There you go. Just stay out of the rain. Make sure it's a dry night. Tom says the first Underworld was by far the best one, so you can imagine what the sequels are like. I can't imagine. That's why I didn't watch them. Yeah. I think I'll just leave it to the imagination. So here we are. Here we are. Once again, what do you guys, if I am able to do a topic for next week, the topics that I mentioned are just something I have an interest in doing. But if you guys have a topic for next week that you'd like me to do, specifically that are not one of those, let me know. I can't always get to a topic, but you know what? Even if we are shooting from the hip and impromptu, yeah, you know what? Give me a topic and we'll just do it for next week. Not a problem. Patty, hey, there's Patty. Pat Sylvan 1 says, George Hamilton Dracula is one of my favorites. Ah, is that right? Interesting. Bunny says, a toilet paper mummy is really functional and very convenient. It would be, I suppose. Frank Langera, remember that the 1970, was it 78, 79, Universal came out with a Dracula movie. I don't know if I'm saying his name right. Frank Langera played Dracula. I saw it. I didn't think it was a bad movie. Interesting. It was fun to watch. You know, for the life of me, I can't remember the George Hamilton Dracula one. Interesting. Like I kind of like it's kind of there, but I don't remember. I have no memory of it though. I don't have memory of watching it, I should say. What about Jack Palance? Remember him? He did the I believe he did a TV movie version of Dracula where he played Dracula. And Bunny says, whatever topic you choose is fine by me. Jeez. You go with the flow, do you? Jeez. Penny says, beloved characters change to horror. Beloved characters change to horror, like Popeye and Pooh as the subject. Oh, interesting. I didn't know Popeye had changed to horror. Did they do a horror version of Popeye? I know that Pooh, Blood and Honey. That was okay. I mean, do you want to do that next week? That's fine. That sounds like a fun one. I don't know how many we'll actually come up with, but I mean, if you want to, we could do that. Patty says, "Dead and Loving It" with George Hamilton in the '70s. Okay. More Lobo. Okay. Bonin says, "I censored myself and retracted that comment. Sorry about that." Oh, don't worry about that. John says, "I still don't know how George Hamilton was able to pull off Dracula with his legendary tan." I know. That makes no sense. With his legendary tan, he was still rocking back then. Exactly. Yeah, what were they thinking when they said, let's get somebody to be a vampire? Vampires have to avoid light. Let's get George Hamilton. Twice on Popeye, Stephanie says. Really? Okay. Popeye the Slaughter Man, Patty says. Okay, I didn't know about these movies. I mean, I knew about the Winnie the Pooh one. I didn't know about Popeye. Interesting. Tom says George Hamilton was one of those. George Hamilton one was back in the '80s. Heck, I can't remember what I had for breakfast this morning. Yeah, I get that a lot myself. SPC says, "You could also rub you with glue and roll around on the floor of a barber shop. Werewolf costume, do it yourself." Yeah, be cheap. Pretty cheap. Just pay for the glue. Raymond says, "Hamilton played Dracula at First Bite, 1979. Ah. Yeah, the Dead and Loving It. Well, that was, wasn't that the Leslie Nielsen one? And it says, "No, they couldn't ruin Popeye like that. Popeye is my favorite cartoon character, then Snoopy." Yeah, how dare they? How dare they? What would they do with... Oh, what? The Slaughter Man? My goodness. Why? Why are they doing this? Who sits around and thinks like this? SBC says, this is a fun idea as a topic. Yeah. Al says, "There is a horror movie, Peter Pan, coming out too." What? Really? Oh, Patty says, "Yeah, sorry, at First Bite. Thanks." First Bite, 1979. I won't look it up. I was going to look up a picture, but I can't really. But yeah, I do remember. I have a vague memory of that. Very vague. Didn't George Hamilton also do a Zorro movie? There again, the man is notorious for that tan, that unearthly tan. So if you are wondering who is really Zorro, no, I think it would be, I don't know, I think it would be kind of easy to pick him out. Kind of a suave-looking guy with a unnaturally dark-looking tan like that. Bonin says, "Yes, Brian, Leslie Nielsen did Dead and Loving It." John says, "And once again, another evening of Chiller Night Live is now in the can. This is Crozak the Grand reminding you that Valentine's Day is coming up. Until next week, stay chilled and keep thrilled." Thank you, John. Patty says, "Slaughterman trailer I saw on YouTube." Oh my gosh. Popeye. Why? Tom says, "Well, the Hamilton Dracula was a spoof, so the idea of a suntan may have been part of the parody." Yeah, that's true. But it says, "I think I'm going to be emotionally damaged hearing about my beloved Popeye." Oh, you know what? I think I did see the trailer of that on YouTube. But it was a while ago. It was like has it been out for like 6 months, a year? I don't know. I do seem to recall that. I might have to look into that. Zorro the Gay Blade. Patty says, that's it with George Hamilton. SPC, do you remember the Popeye arcade game? I do not. In Mexico with the tan works, Patsy says, yeah. I guess it would, but even that, I mean, I don't know. But it says, I think George Hamilton did a Zorro movie. Seems like, remember. Yeah, it's not just a tan, though. I mean, with everything else, and then you add the tan. I think he would have been pretty easy to figure out. Alice is also a horror movie, Bambi, coming to. Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, it's not like they haven't done stuff with, like, I thought really a horror movie, but like Violent Night had Santa Claus, and then the guy's all in the house that he has to take out and kill. That came out, what, just like a year or two ago. Stephanie says, take care, y'all. See you next week. All right. Patty says, I have the Popeye arcade game on my Switch. Really? Tom says, dang, time already? I'll see you all next week. Yeah, we are about out of time. So, all right. Sure. The topic for next week will be, get this right. Beloved, this is Patty's idea for next week. Beloved characters changed to horror, like Popeye and Pooh as a subject. All right, well, if I remember that, I hope I do. That will be our topic for next week. Don't you forget it. Kevin says, good evening. Good evening, Kevin. Thanks for joining us. Although, I mean, we're actually signing off for the night, but I do appreciate you stopping in. And hope you're having a good night. Patty says, stay safe all. Bonehead says, well, it's time to go again. I sure miss you all. Al says, good night, everyone. And SPC, good night, everyone. Stay healthy. And Bonehead, don't eat too much cake at once. That's right, for your birthday coming up Friday. Raymond says, I remember Hamilton and where the boys are, or buys are. B-I-Y-S. D says, night all. Good night, D. Thanks for joining us. And Renee says, thank you for the awesome live sci-fi show. You are very welcome, Renee. Very welcome. Raymond says, boys. That's what I thought you meant. But it says, thank you to Brian and the Chillinite crew for another great show. Oh, thank you there, Bonehead. Raymond says, later, Gators. All right. Well, thank you, everyone, for joining me and each other for another night of Chillinite Live. Have a good night. Have a good Chillinite. We'll see you next week.